version of Customer Experience Secrets. So it's like I'm trying to do a sales pitch. No, it's free. I'm going to make it free for everybody who's on this call. So we don't have to be stuck in this maze and this dilemma. These are all what I refer to as moments of truth and handovers going on inside an organization. The bottom line of Post-its there is the time scale. And this was a classic insurance claims, automotive claims in the US, right? And they took all this considerable mess, and you can imagine all the associated costs, because all those things are tasks and activities and work being done, and changed it. So instead of all those tasks and activities, they could do what used to take them 20 days, they could effectively do it in 2. Now, you don't get from 20 days to 2 by examining your 20 days. That's the inside out way. What you've got to figure out is what is the right thing to do, and then how do we migrate from the old to the new? Again, I'm sharing some of the insights which are so simple, you know, it sort of beggars belief sometimes. But this is exactly. So you have a car accident. Classically, you'd have to fill a claim form in, go and get 3 quotes from different garages, discuss with them what your deductible, your excess is on your policy, arrange for the car to be fixed, arrange for a replacement car, then go and collect your car, and then, you know, finish off with the claim. And that's why it took 20 days. What Progressive do, as the name is on the frame there, what Progressive do, you have an accident, they have a little black box installed underneath the hood or underneath the bonnet, if you use that. It depends on where you are in the world, doesn't it? And when this car comes to an unnatural stop, it sends a signal back to base. Base phone you on your mobile phone. Are you okay, Steve? Yeah, I'm fine. I just hit a slick patch. The car's off the road. Is the car out of the way of the traffic? Is it so? Yeah, it's fine. Stay with your vehicle, Steve, and we'll have somebody with you within 20 minutes. So, and somebody arrives in 20 minutes with a set of keys for a nicer car than the one that you've been driving, right? And says, we'll bring your car back when it's fixed. End of story. No claim form to fill in. The person who arrives to give you the keys, of course, is a qualified assessor anyhow. So if they need to liaise with the police or any other witnesses, they can do it. Well, to you, that mini process takes 20 minutes, but the car's back with you within 48 hours. You know, they take it to a repairer, they go get the job done, and then they bring it back all spring cleaned and everything like that. So it's just one example of working backwards, working outside in that sort of customer-centric thinking. And the other advantage you get as well, as you can see, there's a whole list of it's not just about improving revenues and reducing costs. You reduce fraud, you get a lower level of disputes, you lower your marketing costs, you improve your retention rates, you lower your retention costs. And you can see all these things, they're all factual measures. They're not soft and fluffy. We could attach metrics to all these, and then we can show, you know, how does that actually fit together? And this is precisely what organizations like, you know, Progressive will do. So reason number 2 we do it, it's cost reduction. So reason number 3, I like this one as well. It boosts motivation. And we all want to be working in an organization where there's a degree of positivity and customers love us.
Before we go to the
yeah, of course,
third reason, I have one comment related to the second reason. For sure, it's going to reduce the cost of many things, but yet I saw many organizations, they say that, and especially now in the pandemic, they say that now we just want to achieve the level of customer service. We don't want to go to the customer excellence, or we are not seeking for that right now, or at this time, or at the time of change, or at some certain times they have. So they say that I will spend this amount of money for training people to be trained to, and for example, for the same example that you have given to us, which is the car accident. So I will give training to the people how to communicate. I will give training to the people how to finalize this process shorter than normal, and so on. I will pay amount of time for this customer who comes with a claim to, for example, to have reception for them or waiting area for them. I will spend a lot of time and a lot of money, a lot of efforts, which I can right now avoid, and I will not afford it right now in this time, especially in the pandemic time, because they don't want to spend this amount of money. So I feel that they don't see those benefits. They only now see that they are going to pay this amount of money without getting anything in return.
Yeah. And you will meet that resistance, and that's very much what this deck is about, is to actually demonstrate to, and where I like to pitch this deck is the chief finance officers, right? Of course, I'm privileged in the fact that I can do that because I've worked with a lot of these organizations. You saw the names earlier on, but the CFO will drive this. And how many people would say the CFO driving improved customer experiences and customer service? How does that work? Well, it's obvious. If you're actually managing to grow revenues and reduce costs as a consequence of doing this, it's not a pitch, but the thing I say to people, look, any project that you're working on, which is about customer experience and it's doing it from the outside in, is self-funding. It will pay for itself, within a quarter. Right. So you don't have to be looking at an ROI on this. You don't have to be thinking of a return on investment. It's not the radio program I mentioned yesterday. We were talking about the challenges for digital, right? And so digital CX. And my take on that is, look, unless you figured out what the right thing to do is first, don't start doing anything. Don't go and automate stuff. Don't go and start doing all that data analysis. Figure out what the right thing to do is, and only then align yourself to do it. So the idea that, there's a mindset out there of customer service thinking, which says, look, we're not about customer excellence. This isn't about customer excellence. This is about doing the right thing, delivering a successful customer outcome. And if we can get laser-like focused on that, anything else we're doing can fall away. We can get rid of the bureaucracy and the red tape, and we can be more direct. So if it wasn't for the fact that there's literally dozens and dozens of examples of organizations doing this, and so that's what I do, is it's not about a charm offensive trying to convince them. If you trained, and our ethos in the BP group as a not-for-profit is to train up a bunch of coaches and mentors in each organization so they can do it. So you'll have seen some of those organizations, even with 40 years under my belt, I couldn't possibly get across all those organizations and run transformation programs. So our coaches and mentors are all about spending, I'll talk to you about one at the end of this. It's like a 4-day, 5 hours a day program where we train up a couple of people and then they go and train their own organization. And that's how quickly it can actually happen as soon as you've done that. So I take your point exactly. But the whole idea of doing a deck like this is to get away from that sort of, it's not about customer happiness for the sake of it. This is going to save you a fortune and it's going to please the shareholders. So whether we're shareholders as citizens of our government entities, or whether we're actually shareholders